everyone, welcome back to my channel. We're gonna do something that we haven't really done in a while today in this video. I want to make a tier list again. I had a long period of time where I just made tier lists all the time, going through every country and going back in their Eurovision catalog. But I haven't done it in a while now. We've made like a tier list or two during my live streams if you've been around for those. But other than that, haven't really been a lot of tier lists lately. And I figured, well, time to make another one. We've got some national finals that I still don't really want to get over. Want to talk some more national finals for this Eurovision season 2023, and we got 24 of them, 24 national finals. I put every runner-up on the screen here in this tier list, and I kind of want to just go through them, put them in the categories. It's kind of tricky, like really making an accurate tier list. I first had like the top category to be basically a missed opportunity. But then when you think about more and more songs, you feel like, but the winner was really great and the runner-up was really great too. Is it then a missed opportunity? So I had to like scatter it around a little bit. It's not a very crystal clear kind of tier list. We're gonna see how it's gonna go. I haven't really prepared much, but we got a top tier effort basically for songs that I think absolutely would have been standouts in Eurovision, at least to my subjective opinion. You know, this is just subjective stuff. You leave your tier lists in the comments, please, if you'd like to. Just respect my opinion, I'll respect yours. Second category is ESC worthy, like songs that I definitely would have liked to see in Eurovision. Maybe they weren't really up to par with the top tier efforts, but absolutely songs that I think would have had a deserved place to participate in Eurovision. Then we have a great runner-up, like a song that you're like can really get behind and like, yeah, that's a great fit for a second place. It's not something that I was really rooting for or wanted to see win. I'm not really that saddened about it not being in Eurovision, but it's a great second place. That's for that category. And we have the I wouldn't put it second, which is, you know, a bit, it can be a bit free-flowing and abstract, but just songs that, okay, they finished second, I probably wouldn't really have considered them to be um, that great within their selections, and really like second is maybe a bit of a stretch in my opinion, but you know, they're still fine. And then we have the dodged a bullet, basically like, oh, thank God they didn't go for that. And you already, like, from the 24 songs you can see here, we already know what one of them will be that's going to land in this one, right? But without further ado, I think we should just get through it. I'm prepared to have some opinions that won't align with you, and that's completely fine, you know. But I'm gonna just go from my first impressions and from my general impressions after listening to the songs many times after the finals as well. I'll take the performances into consideration as well, and just see where I will place all of these, and where you will place them. You just let me know in the comments. Yeah, hope you're ready to see my list, which I haven't even prepared in advance. But we're gonna go through them one by one, and we'll see where everything lands. And we're gonna start with Evita, who obviously won Festivali Këngës in Albania, and then didn't get to go to Eurovision because the public decided I don't really know like the full story, but this song won basically, but then it wasn't allowed to go because the audience wanted something else. Still though, I think this absolutely was the missed opportunity. I think Evita would have been probably a standout in Eurovision. I would have loved to see it there. I'm kind of considering, yeah, it's probably, you know, a top tier effort. It's a beautiful ballad, well constructed, has a lot of drama to it, really builds in a very suspenseful way while still keeping something very intimate and personal to it. Brilliant vocal performance. Love the stage layout with how kind of exposed it is within this lighting and coloring, and her being this kind of soul persona on stage in that way. And yeah, it's just something that grips me. I think it's a very hard-hitting song. I think it's a great ballad, lovely written, or well written, and just a lovely kind of delivery on it, as well as with the performance. I think that's a top-tier effort. I'm sad that we're not going to have it in Eurovision this year. We'll see if Albania makes it regardless, but I think this one should have gone, in my opinion. And next up, maybe maybe something that I don't think should have gone. We got Roller Coaster for Belgium. Obviously, in Belgium, there was a very close battle for first between four songs. This was the one that ended up being in second, and I gotta say, maybe this is a bit harsh, but I think they dodged a bullet here, Belgium. The plain similarity between this song and I See Fire is too much for me to really get my head away from. It's just a complete ripoff, which kind of just makes me like it irks me. It gets something in me to just put up so much frustration within me. Regardless, if we're looking past that, I think the songwriting in this is rather simplistic. It's very repetitive throughout. It doesn't really have much going for it. It's absolutely like a pretty little duet. They sing well, they staged it nicely, but it's just a song that never really gets going and never really piques my interest. And just the fact that it's a blatant ripoff just makes me think like this is absolutely dodging a bullet right to the point here. There were great songs in the Belgian selection. I didn't really click with the winner, but I'm happy we got Because of You rather than this one, personally. We're gonna move on. We have Nevera from Croatia, which obviously, like pre-show, this was absolutely the song that I wanted Croatia to go for. Obviously, this one didn't really deliver, and the song that they went up going for didn't really click with me either. Not sure, like there were absolutely songs in the selection that I prefer to both of them now after seeing them live. However, just the fact that this song is what it is as a whole, I kind of feel like it would be a great runner-up, but then when I think more of it, like there were enough songs in that selection to really like pack up a full top 5 with me not putting this one in there. So I probably would say that I wouldn't put it second, just because of the live performance that this one had. It wasn't convincing, it didn't really have the energy that matched the song. The songwriting experience and the listening experience of this is really quite something special, I think, with the tons of automation throughout. It's very lively, it flows very freely, and it has an atmospheric touch as well with its kind of own standout sound to it. But when you see it live, you just lose all of those impressive details, and yeah, I wouldn't put it second. I'm gonna be honest with myself here. I wouldn't put this one second. Something that I would absolutely put second though, and I mean this is exactly what I'm talking about when I say you can't really call Ghosting a missed opportunity, because My Sister's Crown is equally fantastic and absolutely justified to have its spot in Eurovision. But Ghosting is a top tier effort in my opinion. This is a song with such a fresh production. It's what's it called? It has the great amount of punch, but mainly like production and like the percussive sound of it, the bass walk sounds. It's really like a punchy and very packed with substance type of song, along with just this really impactful attitude and the vocal delivery and mainly like the live performance as well. You have a lot of energy going throughout the entire song. It's short but sweet. Everything's given its own opportunity to shine throughout. I think there's a great flow between the segments. It's very well structured, well arranged, has a great instrumentation, wonderful production quality. Everything just clicks so well for me. I think this is one of the greatest songs that we had in all of the national finals this year. Can't call it a missed opportunity because My Sister's Crown is equally, up there in my opinion. But still, this is a top tier effort, and I hope, like in any other year, this probably would have won their selection, and we would have got a great effort from Czechia in Eurovision regardless. So, but yeah, top tier effort in my opinion. Nothing they could have changed about this one. It was just perfect. So, sucks to be you, Pam Rabbit, this year. Maybe next year. We're gonna move on. We got Freedom. I mean, I gotta say, this is it also a top tier effort? I think I gotta say that this is a top tier effort as well. I think like people may probably not really agree with me here on this one, because this type of music obviously doesn't click with everyone, and that's completely fine. It sounds a bit like gritty, a bit gray and dusty, I guess, like a bit vintage, a bit oldish. But I think that this is the prime example of how to really nail this type of music in the most perfect way. You have the hard-hitting riffs, you have the great percussive drive, you have a vocal performance which is really enigmatic, you have a live performance which really got the crowd involved. It was very charismatic, it was very kind of overwhelming. You got the flames, you got the band, you got the light show, you got him really connecting with the audience, the main singer, being out there walking around with the audience and really making them a part of the whole show and performance of it. I think it's just so perfected in the way that they delivered it. The song as a whole, it's not like the most advanced or complex or well-written song I've ever heard. It still has, great guitar riffs. It has, well, I was about to say arguably, but it has the best guitar solo out of every song that I've heard this season, for sure, by a mile. It has a great instrumentation. The hook is a bit on the repetitive side, which I can kind of understand why some people would not click with that, but then everything's kind of just made up for it when you see it live as well, with this whole overwhelming performance. This is a missed opportunity in my book. It's also a top tier effort. Would have loved to see it in Eurovision. Maybe next year. Maybe another time. We'll see. but it would have been a very welcoming addition in my opinion. And I think it's a real shame that we're not going to get it. If you consider Top Tier Effort to be a bit of an exaggeration, I completely understand. But I gotta say that I've been listening to it a lot. I don't really click with it, so I would put it up there. Next up, we have Venom from Estonia. Also, really great effort. You know, is it a top tier effort? I feel like people will just come after me when I put Freedom in top tier effort, and if I wouldn't put Venom in top tier effort, then people would really disagree with me. But I think I'm actually gonna just put this in ESC worthy. It's absolutely a song I would have loved to see in Eurovision. It just doesn't really have that much of a unique stamp as I think that Freedom has, but I completely understand if you think the opposite. I just think like within the genre, it's just well written to every single part of the song. It's incredibly well performed, of course. Has a great production quality to it. Really liking the segment when the guitars really kind of take over in this layering and just overwhelm everything in the soundstage. But then at other times of the song, I think that maybe like the opening is a bit dragged out. It feels a bit on the bare bones side, a bit too long in my opinion, which I think might be a little bit of a minor setback. You know, absolutely has the drive, has the energy. It could absolutely be a top tier effort, honestly, but I think I gotta be a bit sparse with with what I give as well. Uh, don't take it the wrong way. I still like this tons amount. I would have loved to see it in Eurovision. I don't mind the fact that we got bridges. I would have preferred Venom, but I don't mind the fact that we have bridges. But yeah, just Venom has the great drive to it. It's absolutely something really engaging and has a great instrumental sound to it. It's punchy. It has the drive. It has a great vocal performance. Everything just kind of clicks for it. So yeah, would have been great to see in Eurovision as well, of course. Then we have the Portion Boys from Finland. Now, here's another one of these cases, you know, nothing would ever beat Cha Cha Cha. We kind of all know that. Like, it was a lost cause for anyone who wanted to kind of challenge it. But, great second place, you gotta say. Is it a great runner-up? Like, the thing is that I kind of think that it would be ESC worthy because it would absolutely leave an impression in Eurovision as well. Um, but it just feels like one of these songs that actually is a perfect fit to actually finish second place within their own national final. It just gives me that feeling to it. Great performance. The song I never really clicked with. It's not my type of music. Maybe it's up your alley, and then you think it should be higher in the categories. But what really just made this really click and really work was the way that they performed it live. So much energy, so much charisma, very inviting performance, just tons of fun, impactful, just great effort altogether. Great runner-up in a really great selection, gotta say. Yeah, we're gonna move on. Germany dodged a bullet, didn't they? Holy hell! Like wow! Lied mit gutem Text finished in second place, and Germany, you did well in actually dodging this bullet. Like if this would have gone for Eurovision, it would just kind of cement Germany's status as well. It sounds very harsh to call them a laughing stock, but if this was actually what they would have gone for, you can't really take them seriously. Luckily, Germany had other ideas. They picked something else. They picked a much better song. They picked a much better performance. This was, I mean, everyone kind of already knows. It was just a joke entry, and the joke went too far. You dodged a bullet. Well done. We have OK from Iceland. Wouldn't personally put this one second, but I think that it absolutely deserves its spot within the final that Iceland had. It stands out. The only issue that I have with it is that it's way too repetitive. It never really goes somewhere extra. Like when you hear the first opening part of the song, you feel like there's something building in here, and there's a nice sound to it. It has the energy. It definitely has some charm to it as well. But as the song progresses throughout its entire runtime, I feel like it becomes too much of the same thing. It never really challenges itself or the listener, and it just becomes too much of the same thing at the end. Personally, wouldn't put it second. Not the best of national finals, of course, but I think there was absolutely something else that could have taken the second spot. But still, there's charm in this one. I don't think particularly Iceland dodged a bullet with this one, but would probably not put it second myself. Then we have Midnight Summer Night. Ireland's selection was, not really that good in my opinion. Midnight Summer Night, great runner-up. I mean, I know a lot of people didn't, but I personally thought that Wild Youth was probably the best that they had in the Irish selection. Midnight Summer Night, probably like my second or third, gotta say. Way too repetitive for my personal preferences. Didn't really click with me. There's like a nice little atmospheric touch to the song. It has a great flow to it. It's very mellow, kind of soothing in a way, but it never really kicked into gear, never really clicked with me. It's a bit too monotonous in the melodic side of things. Still, absolutely deserved to finish second place in that selection, but it's not a song that I will really take with me for many years to come. Great runner-up, not much more to it in my opinion. Next we have Cenere. Yeah, Cenere is a top tier effort. I mean, Italy are always, just spoiled with so many choices that they can pick from. Cenere was just another one in the massive bunch of those. Cenere, though, is absolutely a song that I would have loved to see in Eurovision. Like, loved to have seen it, because it absolutely stands out. It has a production that I haven't really heard that many songs before it actually contain. There's a great constant kind of energy within the song that really just hits home for me personally. I think that it's performed very well. It has this engaging performance to it, which also really works within the contrastive but still yet constantly kind of energetic instrumental that the song really has going for it as well. The kind of vocal chop hook that it got going for it is really catchy. It has these wonderful like small bass walks leading from verse to chorus, which is kind of like an abrupt transition when you first listen to it, but the more you listen to it, you just find so much charm in it. The sound production of it, or the sound design of it, is just so hard-hitting, and becomes a great kind of segue between segments as well. And then the chorus is just, memorable. It has the energy. It's absolutely a chorus that sticks in your head, and you just want to hear it over and over again, in my personal opinion. Top tier effort. Would have been great to see it in Eurovision. We didn't get there, but, maybe next time. Maybe next time. Next up, we got Hush. I think this is a great runner-up. Latvia's selection had a few... it had one song that was gonna win, and it won, luckily. Then we had Fake Love, which I think is a fantastic effort as well. Would have probably been ESC worthy, in my opinion. But I can't really complain about Hush finishing in second place. It's a completely different type of music to the other two, and absolutely polished everything about that it was wanting to do. It's catchy, has a great little dominant drive in the instrumental, memorable choreography, just a great effort altogether. I think it's a solid runner-up. There were good songs in this selection. Probably wouldn't be my personal second place, but I can't really complain about the fact that it finished second, because I think it's absolutely deserving of being there, regardless of me having it second or third or fourth. It would absolutely be in my top four, I'd say. Probably fourth, if I think really clearly, because we got You Said in the selection as well. But yeah, still can't complain about it being the runner-up. I think it absolutely deserves its spot there. And then the rest of it just comes down to subjective preference, of course. So yeah, great runner-up. I think another great runner-up would probably be So Low. I'm tempted to put So Low in ESC worthy just because of the kind of its own sound that it has. It really has, this retro 80s vintage tone to it, which not a lot of other songs really have to that degree. Like, a lot of people just take inspiration from the 80s. This one is just straight up 80s, mainly and you can hear it in the production quality as well. It's not polished in the same way as most modern songs are that flirts with the older sounds. And I'm not sure if I'm completely clicking with that. Yeah, I'm gonna call it a great runner-up. It's very close, on the border upwards, but it's a song that I absolutely think should have probably finished second or third in this selection. The questions can be asked what it lost out to, but that's not what we're here for today. I think it's a solid effort, it's a great effort. It absolutely has its own sound, own style to it. Like the performance of it as well. It's something that you will remember, like this phone booth and the roller, what's it called, the roller skating people behind and everything like that. Light show as well. Just the whole vibe of the song really clicks. Song never really got me going melodically. Instrumental is absolutely something on its own, it stands out. It has a pretty authentic touch to it. But other than that, I'm not so sure if I think it's ESC worthy. I'll put it great runner-up. I think it's a great second place. Maybe another year it will be Rutamur's turn. Next up we have, I think the song is called In the Silence or something like that. It's from Malta. I mean, the Maltese selection had some good stuff in there. This is probably like the best vocal performance that we had in the Maltese selection. I mean, it's a great runner-up, isn't it? Like, it's a good runner-up, I think. Is it then I wouldn't put it second? Maybe I wouldn't put it second, but the thing is, like, what else would I put second? Um, it's up there, but I think there are better efforts in this selection. Maybe like one or two. So it's borderlining between these two. It's a very great vocal performance. The song doesn't really do enough to really keep me interested and actually stick with me, but vocal performance absolutely elevates it. Pretty song, great vocals. Probably wouldn't put it second though, in my personal opinion. But it is what it is. Next up, we got Perinica Mea from Romania. Wouldn't put this one second either. I think it absolutely deserves its spot to actually be in contention because it stands out. It has its own style and sound to it. It's absolutely something that would stand out in Eurovision as well, you know, and that could make it ESC worthy. But it's just something that I don't really personally click with, and I gotta be honest with that. I think the opening is very kind of grabs you in, draws you in, grabs the attention. But as the song progresses, I just kind of feel like it's becoming too much, and towards the end, I just kind of don't want to listen to it anymore, unfortunately. It's not dodged a bullet because I think it has a spot in Eurovision that it could absolutely fit into, but I'm kind of happy that they didn't go for it, if I'm completely honest. And I wouldn't put it second. I think there were other better efforts in that selection, but it absolutely like stands out, and that's probably why it came second. I'm just we have an expression in Swedish called killgissa, and it basically means guy guessing, and that's what all that we do as guys. We'll move on. Sunstroke Project. Moldova dodged a bullet, that's for sure. It's not bad. It's charming. It has the charisma. It has the catchy sax hook. It's, like it has everything that you kind of expect from Sunstroke Project, but it's just not enjoyable enough. Doesn't really match the melodic impact of the previous effort or efforts, and just not something that I really ever clicked with. It feels mostly silly more than anything, and of course, if Moldova would have gone for this one ahead of Soarele și Luna, I wouldn't know what to do with that. Moldova dodged a bullet by not going for this one, I gotta say. We'll move on. We got Honestly from Norway. The thing is here, okay, don't really just hate me for doing this. I think Ulrike is ESC worthy. I never really clicked that much with attention, but her vocals are obviously flawless. That's a thing. But this song never really was something that I think really should have taken a place in Eurovision. And here's where the issue comes in, especially not for Norway, who had the best selection, possibly the best selection out of everyone this year. Wouldn't put it second. That sounds like that looks really harsh, but you know, just hear me out. I think there were probably 5, 6, 7 songs that I preferred to this one only in the final in Norway, because this song didn't have the melodic impact that I wanted to have. Instrumentally, it really had this whole violin inspiration going for it throughout, but it never really grew into that massive just explosion of overwhelming sound that I really kind of expected it to. The vocals are absolutely what carries this one through. Melodically, rhythmically, it's not something that sticks with me. I never set out to listen to this song. If I want to listen to it, I will watch it live because I think that elevates it to a point, but it's just within a selection like this one. I wouldn't call it a great runner-up because there were other songs that I think would have been greater runner-ups. Might sound harsh, but, you know, I do me, you do you. If you disagree, completely fine. Just never really clicked for me, that one. Gladiator, top tier effort. This is missed opportunity to a T, obviously. We all know why. We don't need to dwell on it. It's always going to be a bit like tricky to actually justify why you would consider this a top tier effort when you watch it live and when you listen to like the audio mixing of this national final that they had going on in Poland, because it doesn't sound good. It doesn't. It simply doesn't sound good the way that everything is delivered through the speakers from the performances here. However, when you take surface value, you listen to the song, the production quality is something that absolutely just stellar. The sound delivery, the sound quality of it is just polished. It's perfect. It also is a song that absolutely establishes its own atmosphere. It's not a song that I think that I return to that much, but every time I hear it, I feel like, yeah, this is absolutely something that you would go for because it stands out. It's its own world building. It has the atmospheric touch of, you know, a mystery to it. Like it's dark, it's gritty, while also having a tons of energy, tons of just impact within it. It's very in your face, almost in a shouty way, very explosive way. You can't really like ignore it when you hear it, and I think these redeeming qualities are just too much to kind of shy away from. It's absolutely a missed opportunity that Poland didn't go for this. Would have been great to actually see how it would have been performed and hear how it would have been performed at Eurovision with proper stage material, proper mixing quality, proper sound delivery. Would have loved to see that. Obviously, we're not going to get that, but that's really what the missed opportunity here is. Top tier effort. Yeah, should have gone for this one, honestly. We move on. A Festa. I've said this many times. This is my favorite song out of all of the national final selections this year. If it would have gone to Eurovision, it would have been my first place. I think this song is just pure perfection. The way that it builds, the way that it creates its own world, its own little atmosphere that you go along for 3 minutes. Can't take my eyes off it, can't take my ears away from it, would never skip it in my entire life. It's just a performance and a songwriting process that just really hits me. I can't just ignore everything that I adore about it. And it's really difficult to put into words all of the sections throughout the song that you really enjoy. There is a review on my channel if you want to hear my more thorough thoughts on this song, because it's a song that completely blew me away the first time I heard it. I felt like everything that it really tried to establish within its ambiance, within its atmosphere, was just something that overwhelmed me. And getting those feelings, you don't need to put into words what it makes you feel, because if you feel something, you feel it. Simply said. I mean, if a song makes you feel a certain just kind of overwhelming feeling that you can't really put into words, then it does something right, or does something horribly wrong, but that's not the case here. I think A Festa is a top tier effort. I'm very sad that we're not going to be able to see it in Eurovision. I still love Ai Coração. I'm so happy we're going to get to see that one. Portugal just, knocked it out of the park. And unfortunately, they're only allowed to have one song. And we're going to continue. Fiori Somarte, top tier effort. I understand if this is controversial, but just like when you look in this selection, missed opportunity for sure. A very gripping ballad, has the drama to it, really just the whole concept of the different vocal performances tying into one, and just offering different perspectives and different characteristic tones within the vocal delivery. The melodic writing is great, it's stellar, has a great drive in the instrumental. I just like the whole instrumentation of it. It has like a classy tone to it while also feeling modern and polished. Well performed as well. The vocal delivery is spectacular. They work really well together. I think there's a wonderful melody to the chorus, and I also like the way that the song builds throughout as well. They really utilize suspense in a very effective way, I gotta say. And just the melodic intonation of that chorus is something that I take with me as well. Yeah, gotta say it's a top tier effort for me. If you disagree, that's completely fine. I mean, a lot of people probably wouldn't put it this high. I feel like I'm an odd one out there. We're gonna go on to Svetsai Stoka or something like that. This was ESC worthy. Obviously, Serbia had another really fantastic selection, and this one could have been considered a top tier effort as well. Gotta say, has absolutely the world building going for it. It's atmospheric. It has its own sound and style. It stands out. Well performed. Well choreographed. Gotta add that as well to the layer. Well sung. Absolutely a song that sticks with me. It doesn't really have like the energetic intensity that I kind of really needed to really click with it, because as the song progresses for 3 minutes, never really kicks into that gear that really just kind of makes me get floored by it. But still, like, the overall listening experience is something that's so kind of with an authentic tone. It's engaging and interesting and intriguing, and that's just really what works for me in this one, I gotta say. Great effort, great effort. Would have absolutely been wonderful to see in Eurovision, but I'm happy we got Sama Spava. So, Quiero Arder, I mean, would have been great at Eurovision. This is another one of these, like, we obviously got a song that most people kind of wanted, and then you can't really argue about it. Is it even, like, it's probably a top tier effort in my book. I mean, Quiero Arder absolutely has, like, this, just the energy, the intensity, the great performance of it as well, the varying kind of approaches that the song takes throughout the song as well. I think it's just intriguing, it's fascinating, and it's so well executed. I think the vocal performance is out of this world. The way that the song kind of shifts tone throughout as well is really engaging for me. And I think the hook is catchy beyond words. The choreography adds a layer to that, and the production quality is stellar. Top tier effort, gotta say. But then, of course, I mean, you had many other songs in this selection who are also probably top tier efforts. So it is what it is. Air, top tier effort. You can't call this a missed opportunity either because we got Loreen, but Air was mesmerizing. Um, one of the best instrumentals that I've heard this year. Just the way that it builds, the way that this chorus kind of just transcends, has the atmospheric touch to it, really just creates a very tranquil sound while still kicking up the energy in that like instrumental drop. Having the synths be so reliant, synth leads just with arpeggios, really just taking over. Very, very engaging listening experience. Choreography adds a layer to that. The light show adds another layer to that. The lasers and everything. It's just polished, perfect little performance to such a unique type of song, which really just leaves an impression with me, and I take it with me always. Like this, what a great runner-up. Would have absolutely had a fair chance in Eurovision as well, and I would have loved to see it there. But it's can't complain with what we got either. Um, so yeah, but top tier effort. Koliskova, ESC worthy. Oh, what's going on here? All right, got it. Oh, I need to charge my computer. Koliskova, absolutely ESC worthy. It's a song that absolutely would have had a fair chance within Eurovision. It's something that we would have loved, that I would have liked to see there as well. It's a song that absolutely just kind of relies on its storytelling. It's very intimate. It's comforting while also being quite hectic and intense at other parts. It's a very lively listening experience that I think just really drags the listener in. I guess my main like grasp why I don't put it in the top tier effort is that melodically it never really clicked for me. But you know, still like the overall listening experience of it is just so intense and engaging that would have loved to see it in Eurovision. And here's my tier list. We've been talking for over 30 minutes, and I understand if you disagree completely with it. Maybe we'll have a few agreements here and there. Let me know what yours would look like in the comments, please, if you'd like to. But yeah, what song? Also, let me know. What song are you most sad about the fact that we're not going to have in Eurovision? It doesn't have to be, like a lot of people will probably say Gladiator because of what won instead of it. But just overall, like regardless of what actually won instead, what song out of these 24 would you most have liked to see in Eurovision? Just imagine we got a new country. We got one more, we got a rest of the world, or we got a wild card country. It doesn't represent any country, but you get to pick one of these songs. What song would have got that slot for you? Let me know in the comments. Happy to have done another tier list. I hope you've enjoyed it as well, and I hope that you will join me for another time, for another video soon, or maybe even one of the live streams. Be on the lookout on my channel if you're interested in that. Other than that, take care of yourselves until next time, and bye bye.